I guess I have a question. I noticed that the pellet grills, you got the best of both worlds. You got the set it and forget it, and also you have the smoke that creates. But of course, it's not going to be as intense as a offset smoker. How's that work out for you, Mr. Stu?
Okay, a pellet cooker is another 3-hour argument in Jerry Springer fist fight. Some people consider that not even barbecue because it's too easy. And I can tell you, given the surge of the number of pellet cookers out there, everybody and their uncle are getting into the pellet business because that's where the world is going. So the way barbecue is broken up is that different age groups have different preferences. There are people who are the old school and people who are the millennials. All they want to do is cook barbecue using their phone, downloading a recipe from an expert and have that expert recipe run the entire cook unattended. Now, can you get the same result on a pellet cooker as you can get in an offset? I would admit the answer is no. Okay. Can you get close? Yes. Can you win a contest, a world championship with the pellet cooker? Yes, you can. My buddy Doug Scheiding from Rope Cookers in Texas, he won the Houston Livestock and Rodeo Championship using a GMG pellet cooker, cooking chicken using my one chicken rub. So he used just the chicken rub on his chicken world championship. I know because he invited me to cook on his team the following year when he was defending grand champion. So short answer to you, Bill, the answer is yes. You just need to know how to overcome the idiosyncrasies of your pellet cooker. For example, pellet cookers have a reputation of not giving a lot of smoke flavor. That can be overcome by my technique I showed you using a 3-stage cook. You start off your meat at 180, running for a couple of hours, then you go to 225, you run a couple of hours, and then after you go to 250, you run it for a couple of hours. You should be able to get the proper smoke ring. Using something like the Weber Smoke Fire also helps because a lot of times pellet cookers have a metal plate that prevents the smoke from getting to the meat because the metal plate is the deflector that sits on top of the fire box. So the fire pot on a pellet cooker has a cover on it, and then they put a big metal plate on it. When Weber designed the Smokefire EX6, they dispensed with all of that. They put the vents on top so that the firebox is exposed. Now that has pros and cons, and that's why people who are inexperienced are getting grease fires on their Weber Smokefire because they're not aware that when you cook low and slow, all that grease drips down onto the area beside the fire pot, and then they crank it up to 600 degrees to sear the steak. Well, the fire pot will ignite the grease and it will cause a fire. So what I do on my Smokefire, which I think is a pellet cooker that bar none can match me using charcoal on my Weber Smokey Mountain, which I used to win all my awards, that if a Smokefire is set up with those half height foil pans to catch the grease, there is no chance of any kind of grease fire. And that's kind of how I compensate for the idiosyncrasies of that pit. As I said, right, Bill, there is no perfect pit. Every pit has pros and cons. You just need to know how to get the most out of it.
I've seen you do some great work with the pellet grill, so I'm amazed.
Yeah, I have two Jimbois and I have two EX6s. So I enjoy them because as I get old and lazy, a lot of times the nostalgia or the romanticism of sitting by my pit, watching it and guarding it all night long. You trust me, it gets old after a while, right?
Yes.
I have a question. This is your opinion. I'm going to reverse sear a chuck roast today. And after it's 120, I'm going to sear it like 1.5 minutes. Now, if I was going to use my sous vide gun, which I just got, it's just smaller than your grill gun. Would you do the same? How long would you sear it?
The sous vide gun, right, or the grill gun replaces the sear.
Right.
So you would skip that 90-minute egg split method on your steaks. You just use your grill gun right on the meat itself because you don't want to do it twice.
Well, on the line of the pellet cookers, I was curious if you might ever have any interest of exploring a gravity cooker like the Masterbuilt series gravity cookers or the char griller.
Yeah, the gravity cookers have been around for many decades, and actually at the Shields University in North Dakota, the Masterbuilt were the sponsor. So we had basically 20 pitmasters from around the country come up and teach a brisket class to the Shields associates. So I got like 6 other ones on my team. I was assigned the Kamado grill to cook on, but the other teams were assigned the master built gravity fed. So gravity fed cookers are good. I can tell you the master built has a serious problem because some of the teams I noticed, right, they had a fire because the way the chute is set up, right, when the oil drips on that metal chute where it transmits the hot gases to the pit area, cooking area, you can get a grease fire. So again, right, like I said, there is no perfect pit in the world. You just have to kind of get used to it. Gravity fed cookers are good. You just need to know how to load the wood. I don't have a lot of experience on gravity fed like Stumps or Kalamazoo and so on, but I have many friends who swear by the gravity fed because number one, they are insulated, so they burn fuel very efficiently. The trick on them is how to load the stacks of wood. So basically, for those of you who are not aware, basically you put your fuel into a chute, the fire is at the bottom, and then as the fire burns, the gravity pushes the fuel down, and you can get a long burn from a vertical column of fuel. I know that my friends, what they do is they layer it with charcoal and wood so that they can get a consistent burn. The short answer to your question is that if you know what you're doing, you can get great results from any kind of a gravity-fed smoker. I want to do more of these sessions because I know sometimes you guys have questions and trying to address them in an email is probably not as comprehensive as I can kind of explain the answer to you in more detail. I always encourage you guys to send me questions through Patreon or through even YouTube. And then once I get enough questions, right, in these sessions, what I want to try to do is break it up into 3 parts, right? Number 1, I talk about a particular topic. Number 2, I answer questions that I receive from you. Then number 3, take any impromptu questions. So if you guys like this type of format and we can do this on a regular basis, that way I'm able to continue to pass the information on to you because I don't know what you don't know. And I tend to take what I call a shotgun approach to kind of address all the issues. But I know that depending on whether you're a backyarder, the kind of level you're at, you're a white belt or black belt, whether you are a caterer, a restaurant owner, or your competitor, you all have different needs because I know I receive a lot of questions. What I want to try to do is at least answer your question as specifically as I possibly can to be of maximum benefit to you.
Hey, Harry, I got one more. Where have you traveled to in the last month, and where do you plan to travel to?
Okay, I got vaccinated, so I'm traveling like a madman, encountering all these crazy people, TSA, and these what do you call the demon car rental companies that want to charge me $1,600 to rent a car for 4 days. And it's absolute pandemonium now. So I just came back from Shields in North Dakota. I was in Alaska previously. I'm heading out to see, let's see, next week is class. The following week is Jeremy Yoder. I'm heading out to see Jeremy Yoder. We're going to do a collab together because he's a fun guy and he's kind of like me, a little bit nerdy. And we like to talk about crazy ass kind of scientific stuff. So we're going to throw some interesting things at each other. So I've been working with Jeremy to see what might be fun. So I'm going to have Jeremy give me a cooking lesson.
That'd be great.
How to cook offset. I'm going to give him a cooking lesson on how to cook competition brisket. He has a desire to be a barbecue competitor because that's an area that he's never tackled. So he wants to enter his first barbecue contest. So I'm going to be his ringer coach. I'm going to go show him a few things and see if any of what I show him resonates with him. I'm actually got on my calendar here, Dave. You know, guys, you know Famous Dave? You know the restaurant Famous Dave? So Famous Dave is Dave. You know Raymond. Dave Anderson. He is my student, believe it or not. So he came to my class many years ago, and I didn't know who he was. All I knew was there's this guy from Minnesota from my class in the winter. I thought he's a snowbird escaping the snow. He took my class. He was such a gracious host, and he took my class as a gracious student. I'm sorry, and I didn't know who he was until the end when I gave him the certificate that he graduated from my class. So it's like me giving Colonel Saunders, right, a certificate. But he's a super nice guy, and he's an educator and super nice philanthropic human being. So I'm going to go hang with Dave and Famous Dave and cook some barbecue, I think, next month. So the calendar's full. After that is American Royal. And I'm trying also to do classes. There's 100 people on a wait list. So Catherine was very fortunate. She got into class. There's 100 people on a wait list. The next few classes are all sold out. So I am trying my very best to pass on barbecue love, because I think the class format allows me to transmit kind of what I know, and Catherine can vouch for that, in a manner that I'm not able to accomplish, say, on YouTube or through these virtual sessions, because there is something about one-on-one transmission of knowledge and energy and technique that I feel is something I love doing. And I know that from my 3,500 students and 200 classes over the years, people find that extremely, extremely meaningful.
After watching your videos, I switched to just spraying with water now. Is there any benefit to using apple juice or apple cider vinegar mixtures? Because honestly, now that I just use water, I don't see any difference. It works just the same to me. I don't know.
Yeah, so I noticed you have my spray bottle.
Yeah, I found it on Amazon. I don't know.
See, that itself is already what do you call it, a secret, right? So somehow the orange spray bottle makes it taste better. So here's the thought, right? I believe less is more, because I'm a competitor. When I turn in the brisket, I want you to taste the brisket. I don't want you to taste all the other stuff that I put on it. You can spray with vinegar and water. I guess the most universal spray that you'll use is half and half. Half vinegar and half water. Because the vinegar has something called like a citric acid. So when you cook meats, sometimes that little bit of acid helps. Have you ever had like chimichurri dressing? And all, a lot of dressings, right, have vinegar in it, because it seems to accentuate the meat. So when you're eating a buffet, you can watch all those different people who give you tips on how to eat buffet. They say when you go eat a buffet, right, make sure you have something vinegary that you can use as a chaser, because that chaser helps to accentuate the flavor of the meat. So that's the theory behind using vinegar and water as a spray. I have friends who use beef broth as spray. They use apple juice as spray. They use what you call soy sauce as spray. Some people even mix MSG into the water as a spray. So again, right, the sky's the limit. If you are getting great results, which I have just using plain water, water is free. It's a great way to follow my advice. Less is more.
Got it.
Any more final questions I can answer? I just wanted to keep this session short because I was going to try to keep it in kind of a small block. I know people are busy on a Sunday. They've got a lot of things to do.
No question, Harry. Just wanted to thank you for the class last week. I attended it too.
Oh, cool. Okay. How did you find it?
It was awesome.
Okay. So you notice that, sometimes what I say in 6 minutes, right? If you are able to bear with me for 6 hours, I will cover 36 different modules, about 6 modules an hour. Each module is 10 minutes. And again, right, I prefer to teach barbecue hands-on. It's really hard for me to describe, right, what it feels like when you inject the pork butt and the pork butt swells under your fingertips. You really have to like do that with me, and I explain it to you, and then you feel the meat swell, you feel the injection needle going in, you feel the plunger going in. These are what I call experiences that are hard to describe. But if you're able to do it either in my class or even do it at home after you watch my videos, that to me is what makes barbecue so much fun, so rewarding, because you get to enjoy the fruits of your labor at the end, and your family, the smiles on your friends and family. That to me is really priceless. And this is really kind of what the whole message is about, is basically getting barbecue love out there in all my Padawans who can continue that journey to spread more in the world. Okay, so with that, let me conclude here, keep you guys kind of nice and short. So I'll go ahead and kind of edit this down a little bit and post it for those who did not make it. Let me know in the comments if you like these kinds of fireside chats. We can do them on a regular basis, and I'll try to keep my talking to like a 15, 18-minute window, take some questions, and then take any questions that you might want to send to me to submit. If you guys have any specific question, I can do a deep dive pretty much on any type of barbecue topic that you have interest in. Okay, so with that, I'm going to go sign off. I'm going to pause for 10 seconds, and if there's nothing else, I'm going to go ahead and stop this Zoom session.
Thanks, Harry. It was great.
Thank you so much.
Thank you,
All right.
Harry. It was wonderful.
Thanks, Harry.
Harry.
Thank you, Harry.
Thanks, Harry.
All right, we'll see you guys in the next video.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone. Have a great Sunday. Cook some barbecue today. Send me pictures.
Thank you.
No question, Harry. Just wanted to thank you for the class last week. I attended it too.
Oh, cool. Okay, how did you find it?
It was awesome.
Okay, so you notice that sometimes what I say in 6 minutes, right? If you are able to bear with me for 6 hours, I will cover 36 different modules, about 6 modules an hour. Each module is 10 minutes. And again, right, I prefer to teach barbecue hands-on. It's really hard for me to describe, right, what it feels like when you inject the pork butt and the pork butt swells under your fingertips. You really have to like do that with me, and I explain it to you, and then you feel the meat swell, you feel the injection needle going in, you feel the plunger going in. These are what I call experiences that are hard to describe. But if you're able to do it either in my class or even do it at home after you watch my videos, that to me is what makes barbecue so much fun, so rewarding, because you get to enjoy the fruits of your labor at the end, and your family, the smiles on your friends and family. That to me is really priceless. And this is really kind of what the whole message is about, is basically getting barbecue love out there in all my Padawans who can continue that journey to spread more in the world. Let me know in the comments if you like these kinds of fireside chats. We can do them on a regular basis, and I'll try to keep my talking to like a 15-18 minute window, take some questions, and then take any questions that you might want to send to me to submit. If you guys have any specific question, I can do a deep dive pretty much on any type of barbecue topic that you have interest in. Okay, so with that, I'm gonna go sign off.